Well, we're here, guys. We are officially live traders with both Topstep and with Tradeify. My name's Fit. This is Fit to Trade, my YouTube channel dedicated to financial freedom using futures. And thank you for joining me. Please consider subscribing, liking the video if you enjoy the content. But today's discussion is going to be about live funded accounts. So I'm now live with Topstep, as you can see here, and I'm also live with Tradeify. So I kind of want to use this video to compare the two, just based on early interactions, rules for the two, and which one I would actually prioritize over the other. I'm obviously going to be trading both of these accounts over time. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So right off the bat, I guess there's a bit of transparency in terms of the total amount of combines it's taken to get to this point. So 271 combines, which is crazy. I think a lot of people think that, achieving big payouts, moving to live is just something that you can do overnight. But this has been a year and a half in the making. Accounts on Topstep later. Tradeify, thank God it's not as much. It's only actually been a pretty new firm that I've been working with at the moment. But yeah, this just indicates that it's a lot of times, a lot of efforts, it's a lot of blown accounts before reaching this point. So hopefully that's encouraging for some people. But basically, I've signed the agreements, picked CME data, so just trading, MNQ, yes, those sort of assets. And we'll jump across to the dashboard over here. Basically, we've got the Topstep X live account here. I believe they only update every Friday in terms of parts of funding. So I think they do that so that you're not taking payouts all the time, even though you got to wait 5 days to request a payout, even while in live, which is a little bit how you're going. But hey, I'm just thinking long-term wise, it sucks in the short term, but if I can prove myself consistent over an extended period of time, it only gets easier and easier and better and better. So that's Topstep. In terms of correspondence, so I've actually had a really good correspondence with Topstep so far. I've been chatting with a gent called Jason, and he's been super responsive. We've just been chatting and just really, really friendly so far. Coming to Tradeify, they have been pretty responsive as well, but basically it doesn't feel as warm, I'm not gonna lie. So right off the bat, I think Topstep has just a better service in terms of moving to live. I'm also still waiting for my Tradeify account. So this was 4 days ago, as you can see from this email. You can see from this account, this was 3 days ago, and Topstep have already given me my account. So I'm actually in a trade right now on the live account. So I started with $10,000. Yesterday, we were blessed to be up $1,000. So thank God for that. And right now we are up essentially 1,000 as well. So this comes and stops me out. We'll be looking at about $1,000 for the day. Trading just after Trump made that tweet that, he's going to delay bombing the energy plants in Iran and everything's all good. And then Iran was like, we haven't even spoken to you. What are you talking about? So pretty crazy. That's what's happening right now in the world. But yeah, basically massive pump up, insider trading for sure. Because you can even see the volume at this level right here, right? It's nothing crazy compared to the volume that we're seeing in these sort of candles here. So yeah, obviously someone got an insider tip, 9:30 a.m. open, bringing the most volatility. So this is only a few people that absolutely profited off that insane move. So insider trading for sure, which sucks. But hey, it is what it is. Attempting a short down to these levels. So that's just basically an update where we're at. I'm just leaving this. We've obviously got some TPs at some key levels. This is yesterday's value area low. This is last week's low. And then obviously this is yesterday, Monday low as well. So got these take profits at key levels. Now we're just going to shift into the actual rules of the two firms. So we'll start with Topstep here and basically discuss what it looks like being a live trader, compare it with Tradeify, and I'll close with just what I think would be best for you guys moving forward. So I'm not really a fan of the way Topstep has been progressing. They used to be the firm that was just the easiest with less rules and just trade and get paid. But there's just a lot of rules that have been implemented and why people are starting to boycott from Topstep at the moment. Basically, they had the discretion to call you up to live at any point. So I only took one payout. That was the last video, taking the max of 22.5K after fees. And they moved me to live after one more winning day. So I had a winning day the very next day after I requested, and they pushed me to live straight away. So I think before in the past, it was like 5 payouts and then you get moved to live. which just gives you a good opportunity to actually bring in a decent amount of money and, take the live seriously. But now it's sort of introducing a lot of YOLOing while in live. So this is another thing that I really don't like. I had just under 50K across 5 accounts. So all of them are sitting at either 9K or 10K. And they've stripped this, so I only start with 20% of the eligible starting balance. So as you can see back on here, we started with 10K, which, I mean, to have 50 to be dropped all the way down to 10, I think kind of sucks. We'll see down below when that will start to increase. But yeah, after you achieve some profit milestones, then you get the remaining 20% and so forth. So yeah, I don't really know. Capital expansion is reviewed weekly, as we said before. That's why it's not updating from yesterday. We can see here one live account at a time as well. So you can't stack live funded accounts. It's just the one account. And it'll be depending on the tier size that you're in. And again, starting with 20% of that amount. So if you have 87.5%, then it's actually 20% of that amount. So about sort of 16, 17K you'll start with, which, I mean, kind of sucks if I'm being honest, but let's have a look. So you see the 50K account is what we're running with, starting with 10K. So we started with the max balance. Now we get an extra 10K once we're 3K in profit, and that continues throughout the whole time. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Once we're 12K in profit, then we can access the full 50 that we initially had. Not too sure. And apparently they review this. So I think this occurs weekly. So you can only scale up once per week. So there's not really too much point rushing it. I think I was trying to do that yesterday by trying to take like a 3K trade right off the bat. We're almost at that 3K mark right now. We're literally $300 away. But yeah, we're just going to let the actual market take us out. So as you can see, this occurs for the other accounts. I don't really use these other accounts because that profit target is just insane. So balance expansion does not change payout eligibility rules. Profit must be net since the last unlocked available balance event. Expansion is reviewed no more than once per calendar week, which kind of sucks again. Like you can't just make 3K in one day and then they're going to push you up. It happens slowly. Your net profits will be measured after market close on Friday of each week. So you have to wait till the end of the week. And approved unlocked available balances are typically applied by the following Tuesday. So basically, you have to have a green day every single day of the week to withdraw weekly. Let's say I have 4 green days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday green, Friday's red. I'll have to wait the following Friday because that's when they'll review for my payout, which, I mean, is kind of sucky, to be honest. Like that's, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Basically for now in terms of risk as well. So you see with the trade that I'm at right now, I can only trade micros max right now. Look, I'll try and add into my position and you'll see order rejected here. You can only have 5. I think that goes up, which we'll see down below. There's a daily loss limit as well. So I can't lose more than 2K on any specific day. And as you can see, so 5 lots is the starting contract limit. I don't want to go to NQ to use those 5 lots. I think it's pretty silly with the amount that we do have right now. But once we start withdrawing our buffers, I think once we get to about sort of 30K, I'm going to switch to NQ and trade that instead of MAQ. So that will be the plan for now, as we can see. So this is the limit that we're sort of sitting at right now. So once we are above the 1,500, we can obviously increase to 3 lots, 2K more profit, 5 lots, which is where we're at right now. And I think that's sort of where it sits for the time being. They do have a risk management section. So once you're in drawdown, 0 to 30% of the initial account. So if I lose 3 bands, they're going to have a discussion and probably reduce my risk. And then if I'm between sort of 30 to 100, they drop you down to a express funded account until either 5 payouts and a risk review are completed or the account balance reaches 0. I don't know if that's going to be all 5 accounts or it's just the one, which again kind of sucks, but hey, look, it is what it is. Their rules, not mine. Now there's performance bonuses. I think these are the highest of any firm that I've seen. So if you hit 15K, you get an extra bonus, 1K, obviously, and so forth up until you reach 1 million. I mean, that would be the absolute dream, hitting 1 million and withdrawing that from prop, but it's a very long way to go. But that's pretty much it. Basically, if your account balance is below what you started with, your live funded account will be closed immediately. And obviously, if you break rules, your account will be closed as well. So there's a few more info here. I think the payouts is interesting as well. So it's using the 5 winning days, which we did discuss about. Look, it is what it is. It's still a live account. You're still in the live market. You still got a risk manager, so someone that's actually going to be conversing with you and helping you become a better trader. So you can't really complain. They pay for your data fees as well, which is really, really good. But I personally think Tradeify's live is a little bit better. So let's jump into that now. Okay, cool. So I believe they have updated this if you're using the select plans, especially the ones that will allow for daily payout. So that's how I got transitioned to live with Tradeify. I took 6 payouts from their program pretty quickly as well. So I think it was over 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, we got transitioned to live here as well. So if you're using the flex where it's similar to Topstep, every 5 winning days, you get a certain amount, it's 3 payouts for that account. And the cool thing about Tradeify is you can go live repeatedly. So if you lose this account, there is a refractory period, which we'll get into, but after that period is over, you can go ahead and progress to getting to live again. So once the trader reaches the required threshold, all SIM funded and evaluation accounts are closed. And all the accounts that have received at least 1 payout will then be moved to live. So the cool thing about Tradeify, you can have multiple live accounts at once, max of 5. So rather than Topstep having just the 1 account, you can have 5 of these running max at one time. So as you can see here, so there's fixed drawdowns for all of these. So basically you don't start with an imbalanced amount, you just start at 0 and you have a drawdown of $2,000. So if you have 5 accounts, obviously you're still running with sort of 10K, but it's just a fixed end of day drawdown. There's no daily loss limit as well. So if you run it up, you can lose it all in one day. I personally like daily loss limits. I think they have protected my account significantly. So I'm a big fan of them, but I mean, the fact that there's no restrictions on that front's really cool. Here we are. So you can withdraw payouts daily on Tradeify Live, not every 5 winning days. As long as you're above the buffer, you're able to withdraw as much as you want to withdraw, which is pretty insane. So you can see here, basically, this is an example. You're starting at 0, 2,000 drawdown, you make $500 profit. You request that $500 straight away. And so your drawdown moves up by $500. So you've got to be above the buffer of 2,100 to be able to do that. So it's probably sitting at sort of 2,600, requested the 5, but your drawdown does jump up as well. So we've had a look at the drawdowns. There's bonuses as well, but as we saw compared to Topstep, these aren't as significant. So if you're hitting 10K, which is 8K in profit, compared with the 2K drawdown, well, actually you need to hit the full 10K, apologies. You get an extra 2 bands and so forth. So it's not as good as the Topstep ones that we saw here, but still you're getting some bonuses regardless, which is pretty cool. Then these are just the examples of what type of accounts you're going to have, depending on how many you're running and whether, each of the accounts have achieved a payout. So it's cool that you, depending on the account size, so you can obviously see 250Ks, they're different, but you'll get 4 50K elites. With this one, one of these doesn't receive a payout. So you're going to get 2 150K accounts and 1 100K account to go live to as well. So now if you lose the drawdown period, there's a 4-week cooling off period depending on live performance. So I imagine if you're doing pretty well, potentially lose it all in one streak, they might be a bit more lenient. But if you're just starting and lose it all right off the bat, more than likely you're going to have to enter this 4-week period. So you can't purchase any new evals at all. It's pretty much banned from Tradeify for 4 weeks. And then after that period, you can purchase new accounts and sort of run the process again. So 90-10 split, same as Topstep here. And cool thing, daily payouts right from the bat. You don't need to prove yourself again, which is really, really cool. You can withdraw under your buffer here as well. So starting with 0 trading capital, you go up to 15, you can draw the $15,000 profit at a 90-10 split as well. Now, if you're trading really, really well, I do like this concept. This is pretty cool. Just considering the live environment is so much better on Tradeify. Basically, they can flag you as elite only mode. So if you enter live and you're trading really, really well, they will flag you as an elite only trader, which means that if you're buying new accounts and you pass the eval, they'll just put you straight into a live account once again, which I think is pretty cool. Again, you got to wait for that 4-week refractory period, but it just saves that process of, you know, being in the live sim funded, then transitioning again. They'll just put you straight into live, which I think is pretty cool, to be honest. So obviously you can see you cannot purchase any new accounts, cool off period, and that's pretty much it. I think it's really, really cool that you can withdraw all of these amounts. Obviously they are going to close your account if you do something like this. You earn 100K, you withdraw the 100, but it is still possible. You get your 90-10 split, 90 bands coming in as well. So yeah, I think based on the rules that we can see here, Tradeify just has a bit more of an attractive live program, just because there's less rules, there's less sort of babysitting and hand holding. They just trust that if you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. So that's really, really cool. It's got stopped out of my position. Still running here on this trade. We're more than likely about to get stopped out pretty soon. But if that's the case, we'll just take the $1,000 for the day, lock ourselves out, come back tomorrow. Again, there's no rush with these being reviewed every week. So if we can just run up sort of $1,000 first week here, get to 5K, get the 20% increase for next week, I think that would just be the goal for this week on the first week. But yeah, pros and cons for both. I think Topstep support has been really good. The fact that we're already in the live environment right now is really, really exciting. But yeah, really keen to see Tradeify as well and how that works. But really exciting stuff for the channel. So much coming ahead for the rest of 2026. As always, thank you so much for the support. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting as well, which prop firm you would prefer out of the two. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. All the best. Take care. God bless. Peace.